Good morning to all traders. Let's revisit the pound today because on the Brexit front, we had May locking in a 6-month extension, but on the market front, we didn't see that actually causing any breakouts. It was a non-event pretty much, which makes me think, are we likely to see markets coming back into normal trading activity or not? Okay, obviously volatility is expected to be high and uncertainty is not going to go anywhere anytime soon, despite the somewhat positive development, as there is still efforts from the Commons to push a deal through before the European elections. Okay, so that may bring the desperate tone back. Now with cross-party talks, of course, not going anywhere and a longer than expected delay, pound could be under pressure. So today is Friday, 12th of April, last day of the week, and as I always say, you should expect end-of-week flows to kick in. Now, we also expect industrial production from Europe, the UOM, Michigan Consumer Sentiment, and as well as what BOC's, Bank of Canada Deputy Governor Lanes, has to say. Okay, now, although dollar ended the session strong yesterday, okay, on the back of a 50-year low in weekly jobless claims. Yes, you heard that right, half a century figure. Now, the dollar started today, Friday, on a weak footing, okay, and this may be the case for the session, given the firmness in oil prices, okay. Now, should we expect then the wages in the US to go higher because we have still, tightening in the US job markets? Oh, well, we don't know what's going to happen, but if they move higher, okay, that will most likely going to change Fed's language in the next FOMC meeting or the one after in Q2 or not. But let's just leave that aside for now. Let's leave it out for now, and let's just jump straight to the charts. Now, note that any recommendations here are not investment advice, and losses can exceed profits. I want to start with pound dollar. On the daily chart, we talked about pound at the beginning of the week, and we are still moving within this channel, okay, but we are seeing any bullish attempts start failing pretty much. So I wouldn't be surprised if prices break below outside this range, okay, and start moving lower. That would validate a inverse head and shoulders pattern here where we can start looking for buys, okay? But since I'm getting these two signals, I am more positive on the bearish sort of bias rather than the bullish at the moment. If we go down on the 4-hour, we can have some signals that validates the pretty much opinion. Indeed, we are getting both signals from RSI and MACD. Actually, we did get that move down here after those two signals, but still at the moment we are consolidating in a triangle pattern, and we can start looking for bears to step in, either where we are at the moment or maybe a little bit higher. Obviously, if that failed, then we're looking at prices moving all the way up. We can look at 132.50 or even all the way up to the top of the channel, but there is doubt about this, okay? I would really bet on this descending trend line here, okay? This will be the invalidation factor, let's call it. Okay, now a little bit lower down on the 1-hour chart. We are here also in a triangle pattern. Markets are moving in corrective waves, okay? So the question is, where are we heading from here? What I would want to see, ideally, right? I would want to see prices moving a little bit higher so that we can have the RSI moving as well a little bit higher, while at the same time prices are below the previous high. That would create, both on the RSI and MACD, a bearish hidden divergence signal. And this is where we can expect bears to step in. Obviously, if that is not the case, we could see markets just pretty much turning from down there. Now, the Bollinger Bands are coming into contraction mode, which means, which could mean actually, but for the day we might not see a break. Okay. Obviously, if they come together, too much with one another, we can expect a break. It might be just a small one to the bottom of this trend line, or it might just be a small one to the upside at the top of this, on the descending trend line over the top side. Okay. Now let's have a look at dollar CAD as well. We talked about this huge end of wave 5 over here, steep decline at the beginning of the year. We had the correction, and we can expect prices now to start to continue pretty much with wave C down here, right? And what I would be ideally looking is for this to come down an impulse downward move, okay, and even go a little bit lower than 129, okay, but that will be in the long term. Now in the medium term, if we look at this, the RSI is also moving in a tight range and consolidates. The question is, are we going to see prices breaking outside this triangle pattern higher or lower? Well, let's go on the 4-hour chart to have a quick look. For our chart, we're not getting any signals on the MACD on RSI, but the RSI, in case prices move a little bit higher, which is very well expected, you know, there's no surprise there, then we'll be able to receive a very nice hidden bearish divergence signal over here, where bears are expected to start stepping in around 134,500, a very good psychological resistance level as well. Now, you can see this trend line here, okay? If prices move above it, it will most likely be a false break if they manage to. If not, we're looking for bears to step in just before that, and prices have been confirming lower highs anyway. Okay, so I wouldn't be surprised if that doesn't happen at all and we see prices just start reversing from now. What I would pay attention to is this level right here. Are we going to see a retest of prices here and move all the way up or not? If we don't see that, then we're looking at moving lower with first level below 133. Okay, and down on the 1-hour chart quickly. Okay, the 1-hour chart shows us bearish hidden divergence signals both on the RSI and MACD, and this is the reason actually the price broke above this level, below, I'm sorry. Now we're looking at this activity level to give us further signs. 133,500, also a psychological support, and this is when I'm looking for further clues. Okay, if that happened, then of course we're looking at the break of this ascending trend line, and then going down to the ascending trend line of the bigger, of the longer term, of this longer term channel. Okay, so when I wish you a great weekend. Okay, don't forget to visit our blog, of course. It's where we cover all the latest news. We always update you, we provide trading ideas, and all the necessary tool a trader pretty much needs, serving you responsibly.